All right. Welcome back, everyone, faithful listener. If we do still have one after our whatever month hiatus.
Has it been
Uh,
a month?
it's been a while. Our last session was at least
3 weeks.
it's like 2.5 weeks, almost 3.
It's been a while that we didn't upload for a while.
Yeah, we've done. Yeah. So, thank you to anyone who's still listening.
They can't see me. I'm giving everyone a heart.
Heart, yeah. We were just talking about. Hopefully, we'll get some other lore stuff out soon. But who cares? This is all for us anyways. Fuck you guys who are listening. It's all for us anyway.
No, I love you guys. I love you guys. This is why I'm the favorite. Why I'm
The fan favorite.
I'm the fan favorite, and we all know that.
Well, we need to get more of our friends to watch. That way, we'll have like an even out fan base. For
the funniest thing is, I think Ev is the fan favorite.
We'll have
so,
to.
like, from what I've heard, most people are like, I can't choose. Okay, my one friend. Love you. Shout out. But I feel like Ev is a very lovable character.
She is. She's quite.
Even though Reese isn't here today. Reese isn't here today, so how does that feel?
Very sad.
She's very marketable. I'll give her that much. We should put her on a t-shirt.
I would wear a t-shirt with Eb on it.
Put on a shirt.
We do have to make a shirt actually. Anyway, but also I will say, shit. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, Cameron and I should go. We'll have a fan meetup at Colgate and be like, "How do you do, my fellow kids?" With our walkers and shit.
I'm old now. I'm old now.
You. I'm still in my early 20s.
I'm old now. I'm no longer a teenager.
Yeah, we're all in our 20s now. Congratulations! Oh yeah, we're all in our 20s. Yay! Look at that.
Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And as a present, we will be having a Tiersy time. And last we left off, everybody had slept in a somewhat familiar looking old cottage-esque place. There was like a bit of a garden out front. Apollos had cleaned up the rooms for the group, and then nobody except for the two that he kind of didn't like took it, which I guess there was kind of a somewhat of a mutual respect moment, kind of, except Zin didn't do anything to earn Apollos' respect. He just kind of took what Apollos did. Took advantage.
No, Zin gave him like a thankful nod. I think he said thanks.
He gave a thankful nod.
Okay, here's the thing. He's Zin. I love him.
Yeah, so that happened. I guess that was as close to a mutual understanding as we'll get. And there seemed to be an odd purple energy that descended on the group as they slept, with Atham doing a little bit of guard duty / meditation, and Eb getting pulled into some kind of vision of some kind of portent of doom. With that being said, we'll go over to let's start with Zin. So why don't you take us through Zin's nighttime routine real quick?
Okay. Well, okay, I'm guessing there's nowhere to like clean in this kind of, this regular.
Like there's some wash like materials in the what used to be a bathroom, basically. There's like a basin and like with clean water and some towels and like soap and stuff like that.
Zin has to regularly shampoo and condition his hair. He's a very cleanly boy. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I guess his night routine is like I don't know if he showered recently. So he's like probably like cleaned up, took like a quick bath, like shampooed and conditioned his hair because that's essential. He just kind of like his bedtime routine is just like clean up, just like get all ready for bed, like he puts on whatever he wears to bed. I don't know, like whatever people wear to bed, like PJs. And then what is his nightly routine?
That's pretty good so far. I mean, he
Yeah.
might not do much else besides that.
So maybe like he's not very well. No, he's an Asimar. He doesn't. I feel like Asimars don't have to worry about facial routines. I feel like they don't.
Mhm.
They just don't. They just don't get like zits. They're just like perfect, you know.
Uh,
Like their skin is always gonna be flawless. But you
yeah.
know, he just cleans up, gets ready for bed, something like that.
Lear does something similar, you know, he's more Spartan-esque. He doesn't do as much like vanity slash like beauty beautification stuff, like doesn't really condition or whatnot. He washes his hair simply and kind of puts on ceremonial night robes in
I'm ima-
silence.
I'm imagining like the nightcap, like the what's the like
The
what's
what's his name? Scrooge nightcap.
yes, the Scrooge like nightcap and like gown. I just imagining that on Lear, but anyways, continue.
I will say, yeah, Lear has somewhat like a Scrooge nightcap. It looks like a little Pope hat, which is why it's ceremonial. Nah, we'll let it's ambiguous, you know. We got to leave some mysteries in the story.
Yeah.
So he gets into bed and sleeps kind of like a mummy a little bit. Very like doesn't even go under the covers. And just like kind of doesn't even look like he falls asleep so much as he just closes his eyes. Uh, in a very like weird blank looking mummy, like I said,
That makes
situation.
sense. I feel like that's very fitting.
Um, is in, I guess you go to sleep if there's nothing else, and then you start to dream a little bit normally, or like you start to fall asleep normally, and then I want you to take us through. This is probably the first time you've not slept near Cyril in a while, so um, I'm curious as to what you think your mind goes through as it's falling asleep, and it goes through some of its usual terrors that it had before the journey started because you were having trouble with that, nightmares and whatnot. Um, and you start to shake a little bit, and your mind kind of goes through some turbulence as it's like on its way to dreamland.
Yeah, so he kind of I feel like when he sleeps like this, he kind of just kind of somewhat curls up, like he's on his side, and as he's like, as you say, floating away to dreamland, he's kind of like he feels like he's getting like cold in a way, something like that, like,
Mhm.
and again, he's kind of back in this sort of like when he's asleep and stuff, he kind of feels like he's standing in this empty white like space. Um it's cold. He doesn't like really recognize anything, I feel like. Like it's just blank, you know? Like you know that one episode of SpongeBob where Squidward goes into like some
Mhm.
dimension and it's just a blank piece of
It's
paper?
white as long as you can see,
Yeah.
kind of.
So that's kind of what it's like to
It's kind of like what where Morchella found him that one time.
yes. Um
Mhm.
and I guess I don't know if like you wanted to add more about like what's gonna happen next, but like if it's going to be nightmare time, what usually happens is it feels like all of a sudden like he can't breathe. Um it's a lot more like a choking sensation, like there's some like he's almost drowning in a way. Like there's this feeling of something where he can't breathe air and he's kind of starting to gasp and he like feels himself getting a little bit like clammy and stuff. Um, because that's like as he starts getting into the dream. I don't know.
As you do that, you kind of Zin is lying down in this white room, and the floor as it seems to the whiteness is so oppressive that it kind of starts to feel like it's moving in on you and it's closing in and you're starting to get claustrophobic even though there's no walls to see, and it feels like you start to sink into the floor, and it becomes this kind of white quicksand that's starting to like claw at your limbs, and you slowly start to descend, and there's a weight on your chest and you can't move, and you're shaking there, and you can kind of feel a sort of rattling that maybe your body is shaking too in the real world, but it's vague and distant. And it just keeps going deeper and deeper until all of a sudden there's this kind of burst of off-white light that's still white, but it's a different kind, oddly enough. And um, there is a form of a winged creature that is too hard to look at close, that kind of not really grabs onto you, but like their presence connects with yours in a not really physical way, but is able to connect and lift you out of the sludge, the white sludge, and is able to kind of bring you back to stability. And you feel the weight lifted off of your chest. Um, with that being said, you recognize this as something you've kind of seen before, similar to what we talked about, where it's like kind of your nose, where it's something that's always there, that so your brain learns to forget
Yeah.
it. This one, it's
Yeah.
now kind of right in your face, and
It's like, what?
it's looking at you directly at Sim.
Oh, oh, oh. I was gonna make a joke about Atham stealing Zin's nose, but honestly, I keep ruining like the drama of the moment with these things that pop in my head. Anyways, okay, it's looking at me. Is it? It's not. So you said it's like a winged creature, and it's kind of like this thing where it's like it feels familiar, but if
Mhm.
never. Am I seeing something, or is it just feel like there's kind of a thing there, and it's staring me dead in the eye?
You can feel something's got its attention on you, like when you're not looking at somebody, but you know they're looking at you. You like can't comprehend what's in front of you. It's so otherworldly. So it's just this kind of white light bursting sun, and it just has some sort of vague human characteristics, but like you can't even figure out what, because you thought it had a hand that reached out and grabbed you, but nothing actually touched you. It's like your
Yeah.
mind keeps playing tricks on you and you don't know why. Roll me insight real quick.
Okay. Forgot my dice. Um, totally forgot to grab out my dice. Let's grab these ones for now. I need a D20. Okay. Ooh, that rolled well. Dirty 20.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you can tell that it's asking you a question, like in a way, like it doesn't say anything, but immediately you get its intention, and um, it it just you can tell that it's concerned. And you kind of hear in a second in the back of your mind, the cold one. It saw us.
The what one? Wait, what?
The gold one, it said. The cold
Cold.
one. And your mind snaps back to the tavern where you were talking with Atham.
Atham.
Look over your shoulder.
Oh my god. Um. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. How does Zin respond? I think he goes, what should I do then?
Do you think, are you asking, this might be a bit of a very specific question, but how do you think you're asking, in the sense of, are you asking like uh, somebody who's like your equal? Are you praying in a way? Like, is what kind of like
Um,
what part of your psyche do you think this is coming from? Like, is it like I said, is it more of a prayer? Like, what should I do, Lord? Is it more of a, well, what do you want to do? Where like, what's your deal, partner? Like, what? Or are you like a
it's
teacher, an older parent, or something like that, or an older
it's
sibling parent?
it's more like he hears the sound, this voice that I mean he's heard before, and he's just kind of still like kind of as he is. Like I don't know if he was standing or sitting or just looking forward, and he's just kind of like deadpan, just like saying it. What should I do? Like that, like deadpan, like he's talking to whatever is speaking to him, but he's not quite like it's like almost like an order, like asking for an order.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you're enthralled in a way.
Yeah.
All right. So it's an interesting response from Zen. I will say that there's a kind of a pause for a second, and to answer your question, you're not really standing or sitting. It's like in this plane, nothing really has sort of relative position,
Yeah,
so it
I
doesn't
was
matter.
just wondering like how I'm like positioned in this weird sphere. I'm like not like yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyways.
It answers you by saying, "You must guard the presence. No one must know we are here. The agreement must not be broken."
Sin, despite this being something like he doesn't quite already know yet, he doesn't really know this. And what an agreement is, he's kind of in this state of, like you said, like enthrallment, where he doesn't take the second to think or consider what, but simply goes along with it, I feel like. He goes, his instinct is to follow this, much like, not quite be like, what? He's more just like, okay. So I guess this response would be something like, how do I do that? Like just straightforward answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like at questions, I mean,
Mm-hmm. It responds to you saying, "The time will come. Let no one know of our relationship, of our symbiosis. There will be a time when you will become what you were meant to be. But until then, you must guard us. As a gardener would tend to a rose from the winter storm."
Okay. You are getting a little quiet. I know you're whispering, but
Okay, well, could you at least hear what was said?
I could hear that. I just want to
Okay, I'll make sure to move the mic a little closer to it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if
just saying that for when you're doing that, just in case like the audio it started like dropping off. Anyways, point is, holy shit. Okay. Uh so the word symbiosis is a thing that the mushroom said. This is what when Morchella had, I believe, reached into Zin's mind. I believe Morchella would keep saying stuff like this, I believe, but I think when Morchella went into Zin's own psyche, they said something along this line. Like said the word, probably. So it kind of like a little bit clicked. Where he's heard this word before in the context of Morchella and Morchella telling him something about it while kind of in his most vulnerable part of his psyche. So Max Sardonic just goes
Yeah, look
oh shit. Okay.
and as you're thinking all these things, these emotions come through you, the scene snaps, like snap a little harder there. And you start to sink again, and you fall through the floor. And we're gonna switch over to Atham for a little bit.
It's so
All right.
Yeah, well, too bad. You don't get any freebies like that. Although, just also, you might not have noticed it, but I think I saw Cameron's mustache twitching in annoyance at some of the things the person
I
was saying.
twitched my mustache many times.
Mhm.
He a twitchy.
It
Mainly in
twitches on its
anger, though,
own.
I believe. It's got a mind of its own. That reminds me of oh God, I hate you.
Isn't
Now, for
it?
anybody reference, there was a reference to Angel ASMR for those listening to the recording, and I
I'm sure
absolutely
he'll
hate that.
clip it and put it in the.
I
Does the
hate you.
whispering angel inside
If
you
he
make
doesn't,
you an ASMR? Get it like an
Oh
ASMR?
my God, that took me.
That's the
God
joke.
damn it!
That's the joke. That's why it's funny. Good job.
I need to commit seppuku.
Okay, sorry.
Also, as a side note, the whole mind of its own twitching mustache reminds me of that Codename Kid Next Door episode where there was a bunch of symbiotic mustache. In
I
case
thought
anybody
you almost said
watched.
mushrooms. I was like, oh.
Well, I'm sure there was those. That was actually in Ben 10, I think. Anyway, we're gonna go to Atham here. Atham, you said you were outside, I believe.
yeah,
Outside, there's like a kind of small little like garden in the front that had some iron wrought arches, around it. Very simple stuff. Little brick and cobblestone walkway to the door. Um, and then, they've got that little tent out there where Ebb and Cyril are sleeping soundly. Um, what is the rest of the contingent has kind of crept or has stationed itself farther down the road, back in some clearings that could hold a bigger host. So you're kind of alone up there. Apollos is somewhere. You don't know if he sleeps or not, but he kind of like set up the rooms and nobody took him up on it, and so he didn't want to sleep with the Asmars alone, so he left the house at least. Um, so what do you think? What is Atham doing at the moment?
oh, just taking a midnight walk. This was just sort of what he normally does, pacing around, just sort of trying to decompress a bit.
Hmm. Very enthusiastic walks in the woods.
Yes.
Um, with a big cloak. Um,
It's a big cloak. It's a big cloak.
which that actually does bring me to it, to my point of decompressing. You just had a couple pretty big revelations working with the mushroom, um, seeing a family member you thought dead for a long while, uh, and just a lot of revelations over the past month or so. Uh, oh, nice. What do you think is going through Atham's head? What is he calculating now that he has a moment to think?
Oh, he's already gotten past most of that, to be honest. He's moving
Well,
on
whether or not he's
to
gotten on to past it or not, I want to hear what if not, if he's already gotten past it, I want to at least hear what he got past. Like where's his mental state at with his brother?
oh, that just means we have to accelerate. It's now a race between him and Kashim to see who can get their stuff out fast enough. The yeah, it's just have to be a bit quicker now. That's all. The Marcella stuff that is interesting, but doesn't help out too much. Um, the stuff with the church, that's pretty standard. That's happened a lot of times. This time resolved better than usual, so that's nice.
So, would you say then that what would Atham's plan be for his brother then? Just trying to compete with him, kill him, redeem him?
It's been 5,000 years. That guy's not redeemable. There's
Okay,
probably not much of his original soul left, to be honest.
potentially not.
So yeah, no, just need to get my pieces in place before he tries to do something to fuck up this whole timetable.
All right, and then what was the other thing I was going to say? Fuck up the timetable. So basically, kind of effectively dead to Atham.
Yeah, but that was true a long time ago. So
Yeah, true. Um, I want you to give me a wisdom saving throw real quick.
Oh dear, I need to put my dice out.
It's very easy, don't worry. It's
Really
not. I mean,
me.
you probably auto pass it in.
I'm pretty sure that is a dirty 20, but let me check. Wisdom, you said? Yeah, dirty 20.
Gotcha. So you kind of think back to many a year ago with your family and when this whole mission started. And I guess at the very least, there's that feeling of coming to a head where now things are perhaps reaching the culmination of your plans. At least, not anytime soon, perhaps for a mortal being, but for somebody who's lived for so long, you're relatively close to some kind of fruition.
Mhm.
And you think back to those first days and the Atham that before was kind of more headstrong and had a lot of youthful energy and ideals. Not that he's not energetic today, but and you feel something inside yourself kind of just resonate for a second, and like that a long stirring in your heart, similar to what you felt on the ridge when you were throwing bottles with Zin for the first time in a long time. Something about coming full circle is very nostalgic. As you're walking around, you come to a little area in the back. There's what looks to be kind of like a family playground. Like a little bit further behind the house, there's like a tire swing that's rotted and fallen to the floor. Um, there's although it's not made of exactly that, some kind of weird older tubing. Um, It's you also see like a rusted slide, a sandbox, all of these things. The wood has rotted with holes, and there's some sand around that's been spilled over from the box. Things are growing out here and there, and the slide is definitely not safe to use anymore. Uh, do you think? I guess roll me an investigation check real quick.
I can do investigation. Um, that would be 18.
All right. Um, You see something half buried in the sand. It looks like a box of snacks of some kind. Um, you see other things of like children. You see a couple children's shoes below the slide, and you see a wooden horse, like a little wooden play horse, near the swing and things like that. If you walk over and pick up the box, it looks to be like a very, very old, um, well, maybe not for you, but for a marketing brand, old version of Paladin Parmas. Um,
Hmm.
and it's just kind of you can tell that this there used to be a family here, and it reminds you of youthful activities in a way. Obviously, back in your day, they would have been playing with rocks and sticks, not with contraptions such as these. But
Yeah, we had
do
to
you think
share the rock. So we had one stick.
Back in my day,
back
we
in
only
my
had
day
one.
did in that case, what does Atham have any sorts of feelings toward like youth and the idea of like family these days in terms of like children, or like did you ever want to have children? Do you
Well,
think about
he's
the
had
future?
children before. We know that.
Well, we've talked about that a little bit, but I'm more talking about like having settled down and had more of a domestic life instead of that of an adventurer for 5 years.
Oh, that was good for the first like 2 centuries. After that, no way.
Mm.
Not viable. It's is
Go ahead.
not really part of normal social activity anymore. It's kind of, I mean, you can do it a little bit with elves, but humans, at this point, it becomes awkward when you're not aging after 100 years.
Well, then, do you ever think it's a sad sight to see signs of youth because you're destined to see a lot of these people that are younger than you and that are so full of youth and vibrance are eventually led to decay and you'll still be there after?
Oh yeah, probably.
Is that
But that
originally
was
something
he
that?
tackled that. That would have been something he would have tackled back in his early, like, first 1,000 years. That
Mhm.
probably did shake him to his core a long time ago. Now, I mean, yeah, it sucks. Uh, but they seem happy.
Mm. Um, why don't you? I want you to roll a. Let's think. You can do insight. You could do history. You could do
Mm.
anything you would like in terms of like something to do with the past or your personal feelings. I want you to roll for that real quick. Something like personal
Uh,
history.
I'll do history, sure. I mean, just because I've got the highest stat. Um, yo, 30.
Oh boy. So
Yeah, 17 plus 13. Nice.
I want you to also help prepare for next week. To prepare, like, give us a quick scene of what you start to see some apparitions run around. And I want you to paint us a picture of what Atham thinks of when he hears the word family. It could be somebody else. It could be the family that means the most to him when he hears that words, like the first wife,
Mm.
the wife that meant the most to him, the other partners or children that he's had for whatever amount of years. Which one do you think comes to his mind first that he sees playing on this playground?
I'll do the first wife. That's a good one. Um, yeah, I mean, it will be like we're talking like full on like Conan the Barbarian sort of looking thing where everyone's in furs.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah, very primitive. Yeah, it's sort of back in literal prehistoric times. Empty era, lovely period.
What does your wife look like? Describe her.
Well, she'd been from the same clan, so so like Atham, sort of golden skin, long like black hair. Um,
She buff.
of course, everyone in the clan was buff. Yeah,
Dude,
no,
Atham had buff
absolute,
wife.
absolute. Everyone was an absolute beefcake. Um,
Oh. Dude, I'm
I
just
wasn't
imagining.
kidding when I said Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I love that. Is she
I mean,
bigger than him? Like I'm just imagining a big strong woman who's like bigger than Atham, can lift him up with like her hand and like carry him around, like the epitome of like awesome strong woman. I just described it.
I
I'm
mean,
just
yeah,
guessing.
pretty much any to anyone else, but they were partners, so no, they were equal.
Ah, I
Yeah.
thought it'd be funny if she was taller than him.
We'll say Atham got buff because she was bigger than him.
That's cute. Getting swole for your wife.
Tequila Atham.
Yes. Well, I was actually thinking that was your wife hunting down a vampire in a tier C region that no longer exists called Mexico. And then your
Yeah.
children, well, actually, first I want to describe just like kind of describe a little bit, just kind of the vibe from your wife. Just like what, do you get a nurturing vibe? Do you like this? Maybe like in your memory, what does she
Oh, it was complete barbarian king and queen vibe. The wife wants some jewelry. I'm gonna go conquer a kingdom and bring her back an entire chest, and she can pick from it because she deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very much a very strong,
It's
domineering
basically you
presence.
got two egomaniacs in charge of a tribe, both incredibly powerful, and yeah, that's what happens.
Did
Okay.
she truly love Atham, or was it a power thing?
That was both.
Aww,
It's best when you don't have to choose, huh?
I love that. Especially she's not alive.
So what the vibe I'm getting is that Atham sees a sand castle in the sand pit, whatever you want to call it, sandbox, and he imagines his wife and children sieging it, and setting flame to the outskirts, and carrying back a bunch of loot, and riding dinosaurs, similar to Primal from Tarkovsky or whatever
Yeah,
his name.
yeah. Something like that.
Tchaikovsky. I don't remember. But so that's kind of what we get from his first wife. And yeah, there you go. I guess just for a split second, um you see what looks to be another woman sadly watching your family destroy the sandbox, I guess. But not in a bitter or like tragic way, more of like a sad smile of somebody jealous almost, and she then before she's gone. Um, with that, let's go back to Zinro.
That's me.
Uh, Zin, you wake up and it's light out. It's not the room anymore, and your eyes start to adjust. And what do you think? What describe to me what's Zin's most what's something that impresses Zin most? Like what's something that someone can own that impresses him? Like, is it? Do you think like if he ever would think of like a rich guy, he would think of like a huge castle, a big cathedral, mines and forests? Like, what? Paint me the picture of Zin's like, oh, that's like a rich king guy who's got everything made for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so giant castle cathedral thing, kind of. Yeah, something like that. More like a giant castle cathedral, like I don't know, like a building wise.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, so something like that. Um,
Building and estate wise, like
yeah,
mainly like
building
where you would
estate
live,
wise.
but yeah, but something else that also like that would signal that somebody owns a lot of stuff.
Yeah, maybe like it's something that's like big like that, and it has like I always think like immediately like a cool like wall or like a moat or something, and it's like there's like sort of like to Zin the coolest thing is weaponry. I feel like he thinks that sort of stuff's really cool because he's still kind of like a young adult who's like, damn,
Mhm.
weapons are cool, you know? Um, I don't know, stuff like that. Like something that like shows like some sort of like great wealth and like somewhat like of a military power of wealth as well.
Mhm.
I don't know. But
So
also a moat is kind of cool.
you awaken to being on a throne. It's not a hugely like old or ancient throne. It's kind of very much like a I guess like late medieval, early Renaissance style throne. That's more of like an ornate chair, wooden chair with some nice plush, padding. Um, that being Zin is in nice like ceremonial clothing of the church.
Mm.
Um, you're surrounded by a stone room that has a huge amount of weapons on the wall, big giant great axes and double-handed swords, knives,
Are
a
they
lot of
glowy?
chains, a lot of glowy, like kind of Sting from Lord of the Rings sort of vibe.
Yeah. Is it like? Could it be like a white stone, like a marble or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
something like
very
light.
similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, and with like gold adornments, maybe.
So it's
Silver.
all of that, and there are windows outside, and you see like a rolling forest with endless trees.
Ooh.
If you peer out the side a little bit, you can see that there are two moats around the castle, and it is shaped like a it is shaped in a circle.
Two
Not the
modes.
moats, not the moats to be clear. The castle itself is like a circle.
Yeah.
And it looks
Two
like a
modes?
chain.
Oh,
Um,
I got shit.
so it is, and it's you can tell that it's also doubles as a cathedral for the Church of Purity, and you are kind of just seated on this, surrounded by all this luxurious uh, uh, artifice. Um, what do you think is Zin's first reaction?
His first reaction, he's like, yeah, sweet. I deserve, like, he's like, oh, okay, this is what I deserve this, like, whoo, basking and sitting in this throne and like looking around, like, is there like anyone around or anything happening, or is it just empty?
As you think that, you have a silent waitstaff that comes in. One of them is dressed as a butler, a very distinguished gentleman with a giant plate on it that has a serving tray with what are those things called that you put on top of them that you reveal food with? Just like
The cover thingy.
yeah, just a cover, metal cover. There should be a proper term for that. I just can't remember. And he brings it over to you and reveals.
Lid! It's a lid!
Yeah, I get lids. Yeah, the metal lid. Thank you, fancy lid.
That's the word.
And reveals a huge stack of Paladin Parmas of every kind.
This
Really
is the
getting the
life.
Paladin Parmas this session.
Sid loves his
the
Paladin
breakout
Parmas.
side character.
Yes, my favorite marketable side character. That's totally not going to come up in real life as a viable.
We all do meet up. We're gonna have Parm for dinner.
Paladin Parmas. Yeah,
I mean,
chain lightning too.
Cheez-Its.
I'll have to figure out how to make fucking chain lightning. And Paladin Parmas are easy enough to make.
That's just Monster Energy.
I guess I don't want to drink Monster Energy.
I
though.
don't want to drink it
I
either,
think
but that's
You
what
have to
chain
mix
lightning
up
is.
all of the monster energies into
Yeah.
one
It's
drink.
that. You know what chain lightning
get
is? It's a
McLean
5-hour
to make
energy.
a nice
That's what it
cocktail
is.
for it.
Oh,
Like it's a
that'd be good.
5-hour energy. That's what a chain lightning
Chain
is.
lightning is. It's kind of a
It's
mix
like
between that.
in the evening.
It's enough
Yeah.
5-hour energies to last you a year in one drink.
Yeah.
Very
That
close.
stops your heart.
Yeah.
Well, if whenever Reese drinks more than one, and I make her roll a con save because it can actually hurt you. It's like it's taken like because I mean for normal energy drinks you're not supposed to take it over under a certain age and like it's like that but to the extreme. So yeah. But regardless, there are a bunch of wait staff who are bringing in the food, and then as you think that you hear, afternoon or morning prayer, come on in, and a vicar comes in with a bunch of what seem to be plain clothes, like pilgrims within like burlap sacks and whatnot. And like, oh, there's the angel. There's the Holy One. The Asimar's in. Oh,
Yeah.
our pilgrimage is over, and they start to kind of bow down and worship at your feet, and like all this like energy and like stuff is going on, but it all seems to be centered around sin. So, how does Zin react?
Um, his first reaction is Yeah, it's like in a way, like, oh, I've made it. Like this is what I was born and like born to do. Like I'm someone who deserves extreme worship. I'm a gift from the angels. So he's kind of like, oh, okay. First and foremost, he's like, oh, finally, I'm getting some respect. Like, because it's pretty casual with the gang and everyone. So it's like, oh, okay. So finally, getting a little more like, everyone's here is like bowing to me. He might at first be a little overwhelmed because he in I guess real life or whatever or whatever, I don't know where he is right now, but in his real life he's not quite at that level yet, so he's not used to this, but he accepts it. Like he's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm supposed to sit here and they're supposed to like pray to me and worship me, and I just get to like relax and like be awesome. Like I'm just awesome,
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that? Okay, so actually, well, first, roll me a insight. Yeah, roll me an insight check.
Oh my god, Sin. This time I rolled poorly. Yeah, 6?
Okay, so I won't make you re-roll that. I'll stick with the failure. Zin doesn't realize that this is a dream so far. I guess his mind still hasn't kind of caught up to that fact.
Yeah.
So he starts to enjoy the excess and the adoration, and slowly, like it's kind of like when you're dropped into the middle of a dream or certain like story where it's like the premise just is there already. You own these lands, you control these people, you have these servants that come for you, and you have all this luxury. All these weapons are yours that were used by mighty warriors of the past that just are now within your normal armory and that you display because you have so many. Um, as you are, of course, a legendary warrior, just the same as Aloric or Sigson the Red, or any number of other of legends
Knife
of old.
cat. Knife
He's
cat's
not
a
there,
legend.
Cameron. Don't worry. Also, I don't think Zin would even know what Sigson the Red had as in terms of a weapon. Actually, potentially. Do you think is Zin like one of those kids who studies like wars, like World War II or like Napoleon or things like that?
This would be like this would be World War II. This would be like Caesar. This would be like Julius Caesar.
That's
Or
not.
well,
That's
I mean,
not. You're being a little
it would
pedantic.
be. I mean,
Zin's I mean,
Ragnar or
he
something
had
like
his church education where he paid some attention. He might know a little bit. He would, because this is the only cool part of his education was all the cool weapon stuff. So I feel like he does know like big figures and heroes throughout
Mhm.
the start of
Well,
history,
he might
but
have
not
something.
they were
super well.
heretics.
What? If they're
They
heretics,
were
he doesn't give a shit.
heretics.
No, he doesn't care if they're heretics.
Yeah,
That's not
probably
something
would
you
be
care
under
about.
heretical. And but by the way, well, this is a fun little what if or character question for the lore, but it's not exactly important, so I'll skip it for now. I'm assuming Sigson seems to be enough of an interest that people will go over him in like a lore Q&A episode that we do when we have a down week or something like that.
Mhm.
But we'll cover that later. But with that being said, the hours drag on as you're fed exquisite food, a lot of parma, a lot of not milk, obviously.
He's a big boy. He doesn't need any more milk.
Mhm. What are some other foods that you think Zin in this scenario would eat?
Uh, he's not. I guess it would just be like they keep serving him like very fancy feast food, but like I can't see Zin eating too much. Like he'll eat his parmas till he's like, okay, that's enough. Uh, but if they keep bringing him stuff, he's just gonna like maybe pick at it, but he's not gonna eat it. He's like not that hungry.
Mhm.
Like once he's not hungry, he's like, okay, I'm done. Like I mean, it makes him look really awesome, like having all these foods and whatnot, but he doesn't really give a shit. You know, you feel like they'll probably bring
yes.
like roasted like pig with like the apple in its
Right.
mouth and like all that crazy stuff.
There's a pig on a spit. There's fruits of all kinds falling out of cornucopias. There's pies and tarts. They come in and out till you're sick, but they're still offering more and more food.
Yeah, he's
Um,
getting annoyed after they
and
keep bringing it.
and they keep doing it, and the hours drag on, and more people keep coming in and praising, and it starts to get a little noisy as it starts to get stuffed with people. And toward the afternoon, um, you kind of are still in your throne room, still enduring all of this, and you kind of just Zin is, by this point very full. Probably his ass hurts from sitting in the chair all day.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He's getting like kind of like he wants so one of his favorite things to do is to go like outside and like train or like mess around with his cool weapons. Like that's Zin's type of fun. And so he's just itching to like, get kind of moving. Like he's getting bored. He's getting bored. Like he knows he deserves the worship. He's awesome. But like ugh, it's so boring. You know? Like he's like, okay, whatever, I get it. Like but he also thinks that part of this is like, I'm the best, I should be worshipped, I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want, you know?
so as that's happening, a pilgrim in a hooded kind of robe, in a darker robe, a little bit nicer than the rest, not exactly burlap, but definitely not silk. Kind of approaches like, "Oh, great, purity angel Zin. Can we hear about the time that you smited the evil Cardinal Luce
Oh.
and defeated him?" It's like, no. And the others are like, "No, we want to hear about the time that you saved Uncle Festok." And the others are saying, "No, we want to hear about the time that you defeated the Black Hand single-handedly."
Yeah.
Um,
Oh. Um, I mean, I'm guessing, like, he's starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. Like, they keep talking and asking, and he's like, he doesn't mind boasting about his great triumphs. He's probably gonna be like, okay, one at a time, settle down, go through like each one. Because he's like, I'm guessing they're getting louder. He's just like, settle down, settle
mhm.
down.
They start to back off a little bit. Like, okay, okay, oh yes, yes. He's like, and you see the person in the blacker, finer robe starts to corral the others as well. It's like, everyone, please, calm down, listen to the angel. And the somebody sneaks through, and they want to say, I want to hear about the time that you teamed up with Knife Cat, and they like, whoa, and they trip for a second, and they knock some of a jam from one of the trays onto Zin.
You're gonna make him go sicko mode in front of a bunch of. Oh my god. It's like I'm guessing it just goes record scratch. Like everything pauses. Zin kind of looks down. He is getting annoyed. He's getting annoyed. He's like trying to be diplomatic, but he's been fucking diplomatic all day, right?
Tell me that you're right. The room goes dead silent. Everybody stares. The gentleman, who is kind of like a sort of pot-bellied, shorter dwarf with a little bit of a balding head, looks in surprise at what he's done. His eyes go wide as saucers. What does Zin say first to be diplomatic?
He like takes a deep breath and he kind of um kind of wipes it off. I'm guessing like the jar fall. If it fell on him, he's gonna push it to the side. If it's like on the ground, it's on the ground. He's gonna start wiping it off. He'd be like, like he's gonna take a deep breath. He's gonna really try not to blow a fuse, right? I think that's his diplomaticness.
What-
He's gonna grit through his teeth, and he'll be like, like gritting his teeth, trying to think of what to say.
Mhm.
I don't know.
As you're Zin is lost in thought for a second, you can see that the man in the darker robes, is like, he looks around like incredulously and says, "He has besmirched the angel. How dare he?" And then you can see that he's like using his arms to gesticulate and is kind of whipping people into a frenzy. It's like, "The angel, no! In front of everyone as our holy pilgrimage! Off with his head!" And you can see that the man's like, "No, no, please, please!"
Zin's gonna interrupt and just be like, in that like booming voice, he's just gonna be like, "Silence."
You can see that it quiets down for a second, but strangely enough, the man in the black robe seems completely unfazed by it, and he says, "He's even trying to take advantage of the angel's kindness. We should not let the angel bloody their own hands. Quick, everyone, to your ceremonial knife!" And you can see that they start taking out weapons and things like that, and they're like,
Bro!
"He must be cleansed!"
Fucking throne hall? In my fucking throne hall?
Some people start grabbing weapons off the wall and
Oh
start
my
grabbing.
God, that's it. The
he
jam
gets the
guy is
dwarf.
like, he's gonna like maybe have to like just like Zin's got that ego, right? He knows he's awesome, but he's not gonna fucking go too crazy over some guy accidentally like getting some jam on him. Like, he's grown a bit. Like, he's not gonna fucking destroy this man. Like, the guy I'm guessing apologizing. Like, he doesn't like mean to. This is gonna be a little pissed, but he's now more pissed at fucking everyone else.
The as you say that, like you get angrier and angrier, and you start to go toward the crowd. The dwarf is slowly getting like pulled into this angry mob of like buzzing bees, and like he's getting punched and kicked. Like, "Please, I'm sorry, forgive me."
Okay, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna stand up. I'm going to step in. I'm in an intimidation mode. I got that like that intimidation thing where I could scare people by existing, basically. I just kind of start marching up to the center, and I'm hoping they're parting their way. And I'm gonna grab the little dwarf guy like by the collar, and I'm gonna hold him up, like just to get him out of there.
As you do that, everyone backs off when you release your intimidating presence. But I want you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Save. 22.
Ooh. Oh, actually, tell you what, roll with disadvantage. I want to see. This is a hard one, so I'm not saying if you failed or passed, but I want to see I want to see what degree.
I rolled better this time, so.
22. So 22. Okay, so you still fail, but not as badly as you could. As you go to grab him, you feel the buzzing in the back of your mind that you felt so many times, and for the first time since Vasa, the rage takes over you. And when you mean to grab his collar, what you actually do is you grab his head, and your eyes go white, and you rip his head off, and blood goes spraying everywhere.
No,
and you say,
I wanted to help him. I wanted to help him.
Booming angel voice. And you back up before you're realizing what you've done. In your mind, you've still just grabbed his collar and brought him back. But you start to come down slowly, and in your mind, you start to come out of it and realize that one of your rages has happened again. It's unfamiliar since you haven't had it in a while. But as you do, the others look around and they see what you've done, and they're like, "It is a holy kill! Quickly, get relics!" As they all say, and they quickly dive onto the body in a feeding frenzy of bloodshed, as they all believe to have been a holy kill and are now taking pieces off of the dwarf as blood and viscera start to spray out. They say, "For the angel! For the angel! For the angel!" Praise!
Pissed
Pure.
at these people. I feel like Zin has this moment. Is he still in his rage?
He's kind of coming out of it. He's still stunned, so there's all this is going to happen before he can do stuff. But
Okay.
as he's coming out, like you can start to do stuff now.
Okay, so he's like a little stunned. He did not mean to do that. There's kind of this like almost this quick little pain of guilt. Like fuck. It's also like shit. Now there's gonna be blood and shit all over my fucking throne room. Because
You've
they're
done
like
your
ripping
will,
this
Your
body
Grace.
apart, right? They're fucking.
Yeah, they're going
They're
feral
acting
on it.
like animals.
Oh, they are.
I
For the
think he's
angel, for
going.
the angel. Their voices start to become more and more feral and kind of echoey, and you hear behind you, "We have done your will, Your Grace."
What?
You turn to see the, or well, I guess do you turn? Do you turn around to see who the voice
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't always like doing that, but I figure it's kind of.
I was going to. I just go like, what? Because at first I'm like, fuck. I hate these guys. These guys are being like animals. I want to like. At first I think I'm gonna like shout at them to stop, but I'm guessing that doesn't do anything.
As you turn around, you see that the person in charge before the kind of leader, the one in the nicer, slightly darker robes with the nicer material, they are looking at you smiling, but half of their face is obscured in darkness of the shadow of their hood. And they're saying, "What's wrong? You seem unhappy, Angel."
I don't like this bitch. I like him. I turn and I just go like, they're still wearing their hood, or do they take it off?
Oh, they're still wearing their hood, and you kind of notice that something weird is going on. Their voice starts to
This
change.
is like a. He's like. He turns
Isn't
around
this
and he
what
goes,
you
"What?"
wanted?
I just go,
Isn't it
"What
what you
are you?"
wanted?
Um.
Oh,
Do I
I am
feel
but a faithful follower, aren't
what?
I?
Does he have his weapon on him? It is kind of a dream sequence, right? So can he like somewhat?
Zim can grab a weapon. The person in front of you does not have a weapon.
I want to like pull out like what's probably my glaive, and I want to like swing it and like stop it right at the person's throat, but like in a way where I can like whoosh back the hood. You know, like it's like with such force that it like blows a bit of like wind and pushes back the hood, and it's like right like almost at their neck, and he just goes, "What are you?"
You do the whoosh, and it says, "Oh my, I don't know what you're talking about." And you can see that viscera starts to fly around you as it gets more and more violent as they're starting to get down to the bone on the dwarf. Um, and they actually, their features start to obscure and no longer become he, but more androgynous looking, and it just starts to laugh. And it's as you whoosh back the hood, there's no head beyond the face. There is just what looks like a cosmos, and half of their face kind of starts to splay out in sort of a twisting, kind of like a Laffy Taffy on a machine sort of a look as their face starts to get stretched, but half of their face is still there. Um,
Demon. That's the first thing he thinks is it's a fucking demon. It's a fucking evil force.
oh,
You dare walk into my halls. And he's like,
oh, walk, run. I don't do any of those things anymore, but I am no demon. I am something much more. And we can offer you forgiveness. Isn't that what you always wanted?
I am forgiveness. And then I think I know logically I should interact with this thing more and understand what it is, but Sin's gonna fucking swing that fucking glaive. cross.
Go ahead. It
He's gonna
doesn't dodge at all. It something weird happens where as you try and attack the neck of this thing, it starts falling. No matter how much you push, you can't seem to keep going, and it falls and falls and falls. And as you do, it gets sucked in, and you can kind of see that it starts to spiral into the cosmos behind its head, and gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it flies away. But as you do that, it starts laughing.
I think,
and then it flies out of nowhere, and the axe you threw flies into its face and kind of splits its face in half, and it still laughs, though. It's just bleeding.
Before it, like, anything, like, it disappears or anything happens, I want to, like, ask if it has, like, a name. Like, what do you call yourself?
It's going to ignore your request real quick, and it's going to transform its face into Cyril.
Fuck that shit! Fuck you! Fuck that shit!
It's going to look at you, and it's going to say, "Are you sure your forgiveness? Isn't there one you've not forgiven nor received forgiveness from? Isn't that what you wanted this one for? To forgive you no matter what you do? Isn't that what you always wanted? Love. Unconditional. He can't give it to you. You've seen that. But we can."
I'm gonna cry on my birthday!
Birthday. He's like, "Well, if you need more proof, why don't we bring him here to see what kind of love you have for your people?" And he's going to snap.
No! Wait, before he does
And
anything.
Cyril,
No, he's not. Wait.
What are you gonna do?
Oh my god! I think okay. So he says that. He says that in Zin. It's not quite a realization, but it kind of is. In a way where he's just like, for a second, he questions if that's all he's ever wanted. You know, because like, for some reason, he gets mad because it feels like it's right. But Sin also never really knew what he truly desired. But something feels like it's sticking, like the words are going to stick with him, but he is, at this point, he's turning like just more and more angry and in a way frantic. Like, you know how like in a dream or in a nightmare things just like this, it devolves, and then Zin is losing rationality as well. Because this is like the cherry on top. You know? Like they like
As
there's
that's
all this
happening,
other stuff, but
and
like
all this realization and this devolving is happening, it's going to say, "Why don't you see what this one thinks of you? See his forgiveness in action, and see if he still loves you." And it's going to summon Cyril. Cyril, who is like, "No, Father, you don't. What is what?" And
are they
like,
in?
looks
Is
around.
he?
He's now transported into the dream. Like
Zin
not
is
zero, not Cyril, like physical, at least as far as you can tell.
like his, like he was dreaming and his dream self has been imported. Like the actual Cyril, is it a fake Cyril?
We're gonna go to Atham real quick.
No, wait.
Atham, you start feeling a disturbance in the floor.
All right.
Well,
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm here. I'm Master Yoding up in his swamp. All right. Go
hey,
ahead.
oh, that was Brayden. I thought that was you first. How are you typing? I don't see you typing on the keyboard. But you feel from pulled out of your visions of your loving family, your conquering family, you feel a presence kind of infecting the dreams back at the estate, we'll call it.
What the fuck? Okay, all right. Astral plane. Here we go.
So you go into the astral plane and you're able to kind of work around. You kind of see there's like a weird miasma around the group, but it's not a corrupted miasma. It's kind of like a raw element that has been seeping out of something. If you want to know the origin, you can investigate, or you can just dive in. It's not going to affect you.
I'll investigate. Yeah, first let's get a good picture of that. Let's maybe. Do I roll something or?
You roll to investigate. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes,
My bad. I forgot that it was in the astral plane, so it might not, be 1-to-1 on the whole.
Investigation. 24. Yeah,
Okay.
24.
So you can tell that there seems to be some kind of, it's like the raw stuff of fear is leaking out of Lear's consciousness, and is causing others around him to have nightmares, is what you can tell. But something seems to have slipped in on the astral plane and like kind of gotten around all this and jumped into Zin's mind.
Slipped in, so small thing, something I could deal with.
Yeah, it's not like you don't feel like a huge presence. Otherwise, you would have seen it coming a mile away. This right now doesn't feel like a huge thing, but it's definitely corrupting. Like a corrupting influence, I should say. It's not necessarily corrupting Zin at the moment, blah blah blah. But something has kind of slipped in to say hi.
All right. Well, I don't take kindly to intrusions, so
You're the one who intrudes all the time, but that's fair.
He's trying to save you, Zin.
I know that. No, I'm happy.
No, I know what I'm not.
My joke is that I said I don't care afterwards because I know he's trying to help me. I just find it funny because he's the one who does intrude into these things all the time. Anyways, continue. Please help me. It's like standing there in like absolute horror.
Yeah, I'm gonna wade in.
Okay, so you can see that normally you're locked out of Zin's mind, but something seems to have separated the two halves of his psyche. And the lower one seems to be approachable, you could say. So if you want to jump into that, you can directly.
Yeah, let's do that.
You do, and you are immediately transported to a hallway in a castle. There's a bunch of servers running around, like doing things, but they're all kind of like glitching out. One of them's just like running continuously into a wall. Another one is like starts to have the fish of a head, or sorry, head of a fish.
Fish of a head.
Fish of a head, blowing bubbles and shit like that. You're a little bit away from.
Itself is even breaking down. All right. Yeah. Okay. This seems pretty standard dream bullshit going on here. Where's the source?
You can tell up the way, like up a staircase to your right, is where you see that there's 3 psyches, or 3 signatures, we'll say, because they will not get too technical with the terminology, upstairs, that you're not sure, but one is definitely a Zin.
Okay, all right, yeah, shouldn't be 3, at most 2. All right, let's go.
So you run up, you burst into the throne room, I guess we'll call it. You see this scene of, there's a bunch of paladin parliament dishes, half eaten, there's fruit and pig and whatnot, all to the side. And in the middle of all of it, along a nice red carpeted with, a gold accent, is just a feast of violence where you see a bunch of feral looking pilgrims who have kind of started to devolve into like weird looking, it's almost like bat like creatures. They're starting to take on some weird I guess affectations of or not affectations, symbols of bats, like balding. Their eyes are starting to like become a little bit more narrow, and their noses regressed. Their bones protruding a little bit more through, not through their skin, but like being more obvious under the skin. Think, for the angel, for the angel. So, like, they're all just doing that. Get the relics. Just saying a bunch of crazy shit while they're tearing apart. It's almost done now at this point, and you see at the end, something made of flesh and the raw stuff of the universe, laughing at Zin and Cyril. Something that looks like Cyril, at least, looking very bewildered next to them.
Uh, can I just say really quickly, when you see Zin, Zin is like frozen in place. He is just absolutely bewildered, not blinking, like still his glaive is out and whatnot.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm gonna vaporize those fucking worshiper things first. We're gonna deal with those.
Okay. Yeah. What attack are you gonna use?
Psionic blast, of course.
Okay.
This is just what it's called. Do I have to roll something, or
No, just
we're in my domain here?
sorry. Yeah, basically,
Atham
over
land.
your backyard. So you, I guess, just do you want to describe how you make it look in the
Yeah,
dream
I'm
realm?
entering the hall as soon as split second see them. Roll of golden fire washes over them. They're reduced to ash, and I'm gonna start walking towards the thing imitating Cyril.
Yes, there's technically two. So there's two things. Yeah, there's two. One thing that has the face of Cyril, but has that weird flesh cosmos thing going on, and then there's one that looks exactly like Cyril. It's like Cyril. The one that looks more like Cyril is like Atham. What? Zin, what is going on? What was those things doing?
Go back to
Zin
sleep,
is-
kids, and I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna start running towards that cosmic thing.
Zin's not gonna answer. Zin is frozen in place, still in absolute shock, and like is like, his eyes are wide and he's just kind of like covered in blood and shit, just like staring at this thing.
And it's going to snap its fingers and it's going to disappear. It's not going to leave, though. You can detect its signature still somewhere on the premises. Cyril's going to be like, Zin, what is this? Is this all you're doing? Did you... The blood and the demon thing?
It's
Are
a
you
dream. Don't move. I'm gonna run off in search of the thing.
Are you going to send... Do you want... I'll say that you have the ability to send Cyril back if you want. I'll let you decide, though. I'm not saying you have one way is better than the other, just saying you have the ability.
No, because the thing might leave with him.
Okay. So you can run around a little bit.
Yeah.
Zin, I'll give you a chance. With all this going on, does your shock wear off?
The second Cyril asks if it was his doing, he almost like in a frenzy, like panic, like denies it. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. I don't know what the like he whips around like out of nowhere, like the shock rays, and he is like somewhat like shaking almost. Like he's not like, but he's like physically like like a nervous shaking. Like he just went through some shit. He's also like, I don't know if this is how it works and if I'm allowed to do this, but since like when Zin has his nightmares like he did before, he gets like really like clammy and stuff.
Yeah, you can say that. As long
Like
as
he's kind of like in this world, like it's starting to like some of the actual like effects are happening in the real world are like somewhat seeping in. Like he's like he's clammy, he's like feels this cold despite, and he's just like, yeah, instantaneously denies it in a frantic way that is like very out of character, but like very almost human in a way. Like it like in a split sort of way. Like he's shaken.
As you say that, one of the things that was vaporized, its head falls as it's turning to ash, and it looks up at you, Zin, and it says, "We love you, Zin. I'll love you no matter what." And Cyril goes over and kicks it away, and puts his hands on your shoulders, and says, "It's okay, Zin. It's fine. It's fine. I believe you. It's all right." Are you, should we go help Atham, or do you need to stay here? I'll stay here with you if you need.
Uh, 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 uh. That's kind of what I feel like Zin is kind of doing in a way. He's kind of he feels like he needs to catch his breath. He's kind of staring. He's still a little shaky. He's like, like he looks like if he was capable of it, he would break down at any second, like into tears. But he kind of just wants for a little bit. He's probably will go and help Atham in a sec, but he is not the mindset to. He just wants to stand there for a second and breathe.
It's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. We'll just stay here for a bit. So Atham, we're gonna go to you searching the halls.
Yeah, Atham he's transformed. His full gold armor out, flaming sword out. He is on the hunt.
He's stalking the halls, natural predator, natural prey, and all that.
Yeah, sunlight is like filling the halls as he's walking through.
Dad mode.
Mode.
Out of my fucking house.
Don't bother my fucking kids again.
Don't ever talk to me or my son ever again.
Literally.
Give me.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to
I
him.
just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
Roll me a d6, bro.
5.
Okay. As you're walking around, or not running around, I should say, sorry, on the hunt, you encounter a kind of a long hallway with like a rug on the middle. On opposite sides, there is of the hallway on the left and right. There's just some ornate armor things that you would see in any castle. Very generic. You can kind of tell that this is more of like what a teen thinks is a cool castle, rather than any historically based design for a castle. And what you at first think are pillars actually on either side look like they're made out of burlap, and they look like two rudimentary legs. And as you follow them up, you see that they're both giant-looking kind of beanbag people, kind of like Sackboy from whatever the fuck that game is for the PS. And they look over to you and they're like, "Oh, hello."
What?
Oh, yes. Are you one of Zin's attendants? We're so proud of him.
Oh, your figments. All right, never mind. Continuing on. I'm just gonna walk past them.
Oh, yes. We're so proud of our son. Thank you. Thank you for visiting.
I'm gonna look back. I'm just gonna reach into their minds quickly. These are figments, right? This are not real entities.
Curious as to how this would work. Actually, this is a lot of theoretical bullshit going on.
I get these are like Zin's parents or whatever, but
no. I'm trying to. No, I get I know what you're trying to do, and I see what they're not. They're not people. They're not people. Give me.
Okay, so they would know more than Zin would know about. I'm trying to figure out if it's worth to stop and chat, or if this is just a distraction.
These are representations of Zin's psyche more than they are actual entities with other knowledge. Yeah, so that answers your question.
Then okay, yeah. So delays unacceptable. I continue.
All right, give me another roll of the d6.
6. I'll roll high.
Yeah, strange that one. Always rolls high.
What can I say? I'm built lucky.
You roll out his dice like a real man should.
I have mastered the only skill necessary in these games. Luck.
Oh my god. Zin, before we get to what Atham does, Zin, are you going to you think start at all, or do you think that Zin is still recovering?
How long has Atham been gone for? I feel like
Like 2
Zin,
minutes.
like 2 minutes. I want to give Atham a little bit more time before Zin starts recovering.
Okay.
'Cause Zin
So
is not okay.
you burst out the doors, and you see Waldo. If you hadn't already guessed.
Yeah.
I will commend Max got it very quickly, which was surprising considering he was not around for when Waldo showed up in the first place, really.
When did Waldo show up? I feel so bad that we call him Waldo because
It's my understanding of familial relationships as another Eldritch horror.
Yes, exactly. He first appeared in Ravonia when he stopped time to talk to Atham.
Oh, that guy, yeah. I can't stop thinking of whenever you say Waldo. I know the joke is the Waldo, like, I just can't stop thinking of
He's the
where's
black and
Waldo.
yellow Waldo you find accidentally when you're
Yeah,
searching
I
for the
just
real.
can't stop picturing that motherfucker. It's just
They are just standing there kind of now hooded again, their face um uh peeling off as it usually does into the cosmos of their hood, and just looking at you grinning with their their stable half of the face.
All right, walking up.
All right, do you just want to walk up and smite them?
I'm just walking up. Yeah, you're gonna have a chance to chat before I hit you, but go ahead.
I'm going to say so yeah, you don't say anything before the walk up. You just
No, I'm not saying anything. Athams walking up while holding out his sword.
I'm gonna say it's always nice to meet the family. Say hi to your brother.
that's creepy. What the fuck's he doing to?
And with that, they're going to say nothing else if you have nothing to say
Yeah,
to
just
them.
sword through the face.
Their face.
Striking the soul if I'm using that power.
This is only a fragment, so that's not going to work on them.
Well, I don't need a deal lasting edge, but I am striking the soul.
Okay. Well, they immediately start to show cracks of light through their visage, and you hear as they kind of retreat from the light, and they kind of start to implode inward from where the sword hits. If you're using the sword, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And they start to implode, and just it goes more and more compact and denser until eventually the cracks and the density reach a crescendo where they just burst apart in a sunshine of energy, as you can feel that a weight has been lifted from the dream as you have smited this entity and saved Zin from a very, very traumatic dream for the most part. Up in the throne room, things start to calm down. There's no more evidence of any bloodshed.
Bitch ass shadow demon.
Yeah, bitch ass shadow demon. I knew it was a little bitch ass poo poo head.
The we're gonna go back to the throne room real quick, and well, I guess just Zin is Cyril's comforting Zin, kind of thing. It's okay. You don't have to talk for a bit. Why don't you sit down over here? He leads you to the throne room. Or leads you to the throne, I should say.
Zin doesn't want to sit down.
Okay.
He kind of stands in front of it in a way because he's like, I don't know. It's this weird kind of like response to like, okay, when he was sitting in this throne, like all of this shit went down. And he's shaken. And he wants to say something. Okay, I have to think of the right words. He kind of like in his still like coming down from a panic phase, like he like looks at Cyril and he just goes in like almost a weak voice. He goes, Cyril, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Silence. This is an important character development. All of you, shut up.
Mr. Atham with the astral plane rocking out.
I will banish you.
We aren't we already in the astral plane?
The
I know.
listen,
Yeah, it's right outside the castle.
listen, no. We're in a dream right now. Okay. None of the listen. Don't positioning from the different magical and other planar shit is so annoying, and having to come up with different names to make sure I differentiate between them is really annoying. But anyway, point is that we're having a big character moment here, guys. So shut up.
Sean's so excited.
Yes, finally, progress. None of this anime bullshit.
Can't believe Zin rickrolled us all.
Yeah, I know. Cyril is going to be taken aback for a second. He's like, I still don't know what's going on, but he's gonna motion over to just everything that's happening. He's like, definitely not this, but I think that love is when it's that feeling when even though it's not perfect, you still would choose it over whatever's perfect, if that makes sense. Where it's, or they are the thing you choose to see at the end of your day and the beginning of your morning, every day of the week, every day of the year, every month of the year, every year of your life, for the rest of your life. And even with all the imperfections and horribleness that can come with life and what it can throw at us, as you've seen, I think it's choosing to accept the good and the bad, not just the perfect and the pure, but the sin and the sinner together. We can't hear you screaming. Just saying, I didn't hear
No,
that.
yeah. Oh my god.
Silent
Oh my
screaming,
god.
I think, was the.
I think that was the thing, yeah. And he's going to say is that I think it takes time. That's the main thing. Is I think it takes time to love something.
I think we'll respond. I'm trying to think. Oh my god. Okay.
It's okay for Zen to just think. It's okay
No,
to take in.
no. I have. I think. I feel like the way that like Cyril just has like this way with like words and calming people. Like that's just like how he is as a character, and it's just for a second refreshing, like really refreshing, and Zin just kind of like not quite like collapses, but like puts his head on his shoulder and just like almost like hugs him. Like in a way where he's just like it was like the right thing to hear. He still doesn't quite know, but it was, for some reason, the right thing to hear.
Mm.
And he's
And
still a little shaky. Like, he's not, like, crying, but he's, like, feels as if like, like, when your body shakes a bit when you do that, when you do
yeah,
cry?
so when the cortisol and the adrenaline wear off a little bit, you kind of have that shaky feeling.
Yeah. And he just kind of hugs him and, like,
Uh,
buries his head into his shoulder.
he's gonna hug you back, and it's definitely a he still doesn't understand what's going on exactly, and he doesn't even know if this is real or not, but he's just like, um, he knows something is messed up and like something was an emergency. And so he's kind of like trying to do his best in an emergency. Um,
I
and
think
while you
wait,
guys are hugging, okay, go ahead, sorry.
and just really quickly, like, after a second, I think Zin just whispers, like, "I'm sorry."
Oh my god.
He
You
apologizes for,
apologize.
like, in reference to what had happened in the in the village and whatnot.
Um,
He realizes he doesn't wanna fight with Cyril.
wow, yeah, you can feel that. Yes, man, unprecedented cinnamon. You can feel that Cyril is shocked again, and he shifts a little bit in the hug, like kind of trying to look at Zin a little bit, but realizes you can't exactly look at the person, and so he just relaxes again and he says, "It's okay, it's okay. I forgive you. I understand. I'm sorry too. I don't want to fight anymore."
That shit
Um,
adorable.
and as that happens, though, you hear the door burst open, and two large sack creatures enter. Um, and Cyril just looks over and goes, "What the hell?" And they're like, "Hello, we're Zin's parents."
What? Zin, like, looks up and goes, "What?"
Roll for give me a religion check, real.
Okay. Zin thinks it's bullshit because he doesn't have parents. Oh, I rolled really fucking well. Maybe these are better than my metal dice. 22?
Wow. You immediately recognize that these are the dolls that are used in um purity training school or religious school when you're younger to kind of explain like um the sanctity of marriage to children. Like they're very androgynous looking because the church doesn't care about same sex or
Yeah.
different marriages. So they're just two very androgynous looking dummies that are used to kind of explain like how a church ceremony works for married couples. Um, and Zin kind of realizes that he's used these as placeholders um, because he doesn't know what his actual parents look like.
Aw. Like, subconsciously as placeholders?
Subconsciously, because this is like the only thing he like has as reference for what a couple
Aw.
is that as a family is supposed to look.
Aw. He's still very confused why the fuck these dummies are talking to him.
We're here for you, Zin. And one of them like also they both come over and they start hugging you and Cyril, and they're like, I have no idea what's going on, Zin.
Zin's, like, back to his almost his normal he's like, "I don't know what's happening."
And we're gonna like recede out into the clouds, out of Zin's mind, out into the sky over the treetops, and then back all the way into the actual clouds of Tiersea. And that's where we'll call it for this week.
Woo!
Woo!
That was the best birthday present ever. Zin session, that was good. Thank you, Dad Atham, for helping.
Thank you, Papa Atham.
Thank you, Papa Atham.
Here's what I do.
Kick
Oh my god. Yeah.